host Lexington Steele and co-host Andre Lavelle and Johnny Depp on LA Talk Radio. Let's get it in.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main man, Lex Steele. It is undoubtedly July 23rd, 2015. Here we are at the ManCave live show with Andre Lavelle in the hit house.
Hey-o.
Here at LATalkRadio.com video channel. Coming to you every Thursday night, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific. Coming at you like a hard ball thrown by by a major league pitcher. You know anything about that, Dre?
Oh, man, that's definitely a fast, hard pitch, man.
Well, speaking about fast, hard pitches, we got two ladies in the house tonight. Miss Tuesday Connor.
Good evening.
Introductions are in order tonight, as we also welcome the Oracle as well.
Good evening.
Now, Dre, set it off with telling us a little bit about what these ladies are here tonight to talk about. Let's set it off.
Okay, producer, performer of an amazing stage production called Menage a Trois.
I like how that sounds from the beginning.
Trilogy. Yeah, and, well, I'll let them explain it. It's off the chain. You got to check it out.
Oracle?
I think you should start it off with what motivated you to do this, because what they don't know is we had an almost standing room only presentation last month for our first time out. It was an absolute hit production, and we had exactly 6 weeks from concept to fruition, all because she was offered a night at the theater over on Pico, and she said, sure, I'll take the night. And then she hangs up the phone and says, oh my God, what am I gonna do? So she, an idea came to her. She called a few people, myself was one of them, and 6 weeks later, like Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland, we put on a show.
No doubt.
It was truly an awesome show from the very beginning.
Yes.
Concept to people getting, it was interactive.
Yes.
And so after the show was over, Oracle had a question for the audience. She asked the audience a question. I asked if any of them, if they wanted to participate in the show. They came on stage, and so we have an after party after the show. So there is total interaction with the audience and the actors on stage. And what we do with Menage a Trois is I've taken erotic poets, I've mixed them with dancers and performers, and so I bring poetry to life.
Like a three-ring circus.
It is, and my concept was a three-ring circus, so I've got you constantly moving, like, what, that, do I watch that, do I watch that, do I watch that? And it's so exciting. It is erotic. Some of the language is a little strong, but it's all very sensitive and beautiful, as well as the bodies that are exposed on the stage.
Now, is this a, not to cut you off, but is this a 18 and over?
I like to say 21 and
21?
over.
Oh,
21 and
okay.
over.
Look out now.
But someone did call and say, do you got to be 21? I said, how old is the person you're trying to get in here? And they said 19. And I said that was perfectly fine, because we do teach safe sex. Mm-hmm. Whether it's conceived in your mind and you write it out on paper and you are a poet with your safe sex, or whether you're in the bathtub fantasizing and enjoying yourself, still safe sex.
No, when you say safe sex, by way of definition, you're talking about use of a condom.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we haven't got to condom yet. We're just in the thoughts of your mind.
In my mind.
So
Yes.
if you're practicing safe sex, if you only write about it on a piece of paper.
Okay, I'm understanding that.
Okay.
Or as an artist, perform it out,
If you're on stage and you're performing, yes.
Because they say sex starts in the mind.
Right.
It does.
It's a mental process.
It does. So
One of the things that Tuesday didn't cover is her true motivation. She established an organization, if you would, called Poets Jazz House. And most recently, she has resurrected Inner City Cultural Center 2. And it's under those two auspices that we are able to bring you Menage a Trois. And her motivation initially was she found that at one point in the evening of her weekly Jazz Poets House, Poets Jazz House, she found that after 10 p.m., a lot of the poetry began to take on a kind of slant towards the erotic and the sensual and the more adult. And so she wrote a piece to answer to this thing that she was observing. And this piece at the end of it, before she finished the piece, she told everybody, "Oh, you'll have to come back next week to hear the rest." And she ended up writing a subsequent 13 pieces.
And every week, the people were coming back, and they were bringing friends, and people were literally, I chased them people out of the theater. And I thought my stuff was a little too racy, but an hour later, we took intermission. They were in their car right out front, and the windows were real steamy.
You inspired some acts.
Yes.
Action.
Yes. Poets Jazz House. I created that for my assistant. Her name is Nikki Dillard. Nikki's passed away, but Nikki always wanted to have a poetry tea house. So when my sister Lynn, she invited me to this new theater group that had just started. It was a Colsack Theater on Santa Monica Boulevard. And they said, "Can you bring a little poetry lounge to this little room?" And I was like, "I've never done that before, but sure." And so I figured since I was starting a poetry lounge, I needed to learn at least one poem. So I was down at the world stage, and I found this postcard of this very beautiful woman, and Nick asked me 50 of the most thought-provoking, soul-searching, tear-jerking questions I ever had to think about and answer. And I wrote a poem called "What is a Black Woman?" And I dedicated it to all my sisters, no matter the color of your skin. So that was my one poem going in. And then, when I was there, I noticed after 14 weeks that we'd had the same people coming 14 weeks in a row. They didn't get on stage. And I knew there was something in their heart that they had to say, but they didn't know how to express it. And the stage is not for everyone. So I started putting a homework assignment in the program. You just had to complete one of 3 thoughts. One of the ones I happened to do was "When the World is Heavy." And then you just go on, and you have to actually turn your homework in.
So when they show up the next week,
yes, they bring their homework.
You have to turn.
Okay.
Now, you had your option. You could get on stage and do it yourself. You could email it to me, and it would be read anonymously, or we would recognize that it was yours while someone else read it for you. But not doing your homework was not an option. And we had beautiful, beautiful pieces coming through there. And we had Job Corps. Mel Hampton used to bring Job Corps through. And in the middle of our show, they all had to get up and walk out because they had curfew. And so we started having intermission just for the kids so they could leave without interrupting the whole show. And they could go ahead about their way. And once the kids left, that's when Nikki would bring out this little green book, and she started doing this erotic poetry, and we're like, we didn't know it was that kind of show. We didn't know.
And you know what? That's the same thing that people were saying after last month's presentation of Ménage à Trois. We didn't know it was going to be Ménage à Trois.
That's cool.
We didn't know it was going to be this kind of show. You see, people have preconceptions of what they think an erotic show might be. They oftentimes go immediately to pornographic, or they go to Slutsville, or they have these images and what have you. And what we did with Poets Jazz House and Inner City Cultural Center 2, one of their principal requirements is that we remain classy as well as informative and educational, and entertaining as well. I mean,
Right.
you can't do a show without being entertained. Nobody's going to come back.
Right.
It looks like we're going to have a full house again because the word is out. We did everything. We met every criteria. And I have to tell you, as a performer, I'm 57 years old, folks. Yeah, that's right. I'm proud of it. All right. And I'm here to say I started doing productions when I was yay high, all righty? Very rarely, and I'm sure you gentlemen can attest to this even here on a radio show, very rarely do you have a perfect show or a perfect production. They're really they suggest that there is no such thing as what we strive for. This was one of the most perfect productions I have ever had an honor and privilege and opportunity to work on. I gotta tell you, and I don't lie. They call me the Oracle for a reason because I have a tendency to tell the truth. My sister says to the point of pain. I say no to the point of reality. Okay, most people just don't want to face their own reality. I'm one of them too, so I know hard. But I'm here to tell you, for those of you out there who are looking to invest in theater, in culture, with a little slant towards the sensual, please contact this lady here, our producer, executive producer, Tuesday Connor, because she has been almost single-handedly handling everything. The rest of us have been doing the best that we can to help with, garnering the responsibility, but we are looking to establish a board of directors so that we can take this further. We have been offered touring opportunities in New York and Arizona. We have been offered performance opportunities in San Diego and, oh gosh, I forget the other place. Things are flying out of my head right now.
So not to cut you off, but
Yes.
we'll come back to that. We're going to take a call right now.
Oh, awesome.
Great.
Hello, caller. This is the ManCave Live Show. You with us? Hello, caller.
There we go. Hello.
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 Long time listener, first time caller.
Sounds
This is
good.
Lisa Howley.
Welcome. Hey, Lisa.
Hi.
You silly girl.
So,
How
what's
are
your
you?
question?
There's a fabulous play that I have to go to.
Speaking of, when is the next performance?
July 28th. It's the last Tuesday of every month, and we're right now indefinite run the last Tuesday of every month at Theater. But Tuesday, July 28th is our next performance.
And what's the
And
address
it's
of theater?
isn't it going to be at
An anonymous theater, right?
yeah, at the Anonymous
Oh,
Theater?
the Anonymous Theater. That's why I have wonderful assistants because they keep
574
me on.
Lindley Place, Los Angeles, California 90013.
And it's right
Downtown
off
Los
6th
Angeles.
Avenue. It's right off 6th Street, downtown Los Angeles, and it's between Broadway and Hill Street. It's a little red brick building.
Awesome. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you, Miss Hawley.
All
You're
right.
You're
so
welcome. Do you
any
need
more-
the exact address? Because I have it.
Oh, go ahead.
547 Lindley Place, downtown, 90013.
Thank you, caller.
Oh, goody. I got
All right.
corrected.
Just take care. Anything else for caller?
Okay.
Have
That
a
was the
beautiful
show.
day. Thank you. Appreciate you calling in.
Alrighty.
Kiss
Take
your
care.
mama for me.
Good night. Okay, so we do have another caller waiting on the line. Hello, caller. You're on the Man Cave Live Show. Talk to us.
What's up, y'all?
What's up?
Hello.
Yes, who is this?
This is Candace.
Hi,
Hi,
sweetness.
Candace.
Hi, how y'all doing?
We're good, thank you. How are you doing is a question.
Oh, I'm hanging. I can't complain. I woke up today.
Amen.
Remember, I told you
amen.
you're standing in there, not hanging in there. Hanging in there connotes a noose around the neck.
you have a
Standing in there,
question?
you're a weed.
Candace is our absolutely wonderful stage
An
manager.
associate producer.
I met
so-
Candace when
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Unfortunately, she's in the hospital right now. She has sickle cell. And so Lisa Hawley is actually going to fill in for her until she gets back with us. And we're hoping she's with us on Tuesday at our show. But sending her
Oh,
lots
is that
of
why
love.
she was asking me what I do? hey, she that's the homegirl right there. She caught the bus to come see me.
Okay.
that ain't nothing but love right there.
That's right. We love you dearly. You're precious.
All right, Cole.
I
So
love you,
anything
too.
else? Anything else for the guest caller? Anything else, Cole?
Anything else, sweetie? We got to go, sweetie.
All right, I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. I
All
love
right,
Thanks for
you.
calling in,
Calling in.
Candace.
All right, I have a question. So, in
Yes,
regards
sir.
to this, the media that you guys are producing, how does it mesh with the illustrations of black sexuality on television versus on stage? Now, I know you guys are right in terms of poetic prose versus what we see, in whether it's the over-exaggerated sexuality of blacks in mainstream media. How does that fit with what you're doing?
For me, if
The
I had-
celebration of sexuality
if I
in
had
this
to-
erotic literature, right?
Well, if I had to answer, for me, I come from a comedic point of view with regards to expressing sensuality, and I see it as a permission to release to each and every one of you in this room, each and every one of us in this universe have a sensual and sexual side. We are grown up in through social mores. This is bad. That's not good. So I find that what I do on stage takes it to a greater reality. On television, it's cut, do it again,
Yeah.
because they want you to do it a very specific, maybe perhaps stereotypical way. But on stage, I find that being in the moment, the freshness of what you have to bring, it's personal and it's real.
Well, coming from a female perspective, what I like to ask you and present, when we see, and we spoke about this before on other shows, what's the show in which the main actress, protagonist, is dating outside of?
Oh yeah, with the president and so forth.
Oh,
yeah.
can we say it?
Scandal.
Scandal. Okay. So, do you feel now we had discussed about this before, whether or not that position? Are you familiar with the actress in the role?
Yes.
Okay. So is her position, representing a powerful position, but yet still being the other woman? How does that represent? In what ways does that represent black female sexuality? And is that representation misdirected? Because the argument that we had on the show was whether or not her being the other woman takes away from the fact that she's a very powerful executive and lawyer, exec, right?
She's a fixer, yeah. But yeah, she's in a position of power, but she can't get her own man. She's still the on the creep.
So do you feel that mainstream media misrepresents black sexuality? It's historically as such, even.
Well, I think it's a matter of how you perceive what you see. Because I don't see that her being the mistress of the president as demeaning or
now Dre will tell
belittling
you,
or putting her down.
Now, I'm going to put you on blast because Dre felt that because,
she's a whore
because she saw that. And I said, why don't we celebrate her high position as an executive and what she does on a corporate level?
So get with a brother that's single. What she got?
But do you think
he's a married
why
man?
does it have to be a brother?
Okay, wait.
Or why not focus on the fact that she's another woman, possibly ruining another family, if you will?
Because she had a brother on the show.
Andre, I know of a sister who only dated married men because it was a relationship that was not going to go anywhere, and she was comfortable with that. It was a safe relationship.
Well, that's an explanation in the communication. You can be with a single guy and be like, okay,
but that was her style.
creep.
Everybody does what they
it.
do and has their flavor. Now, I don't agree with any. I have a poem. No woman is supposed to sleep with a married man unless you're a hoe.
That's it's argumentative in terms of, are any of us meant to be monogamous? Is monogamy a construct of humanity or a construct of nature? Because one could argue that monogamy is a construct solely of mankind.
I think that is because my philosophy is that God created man and man created religion. So all these rules that we have
That's a great point.
came from man. So it's
the insecure white man.
not necessarily because they weren't here first.
Yeah.
So it started, a long time ago. But I don't think that we're supposed to be monogamous.
Right. By nature.
I just don't. God said, be fruitful and multiply.
And if you believe in the Bible and it was only Adam and Eve, after them, their children with whom?
Their sisters and brothers.
Well,
mothers and sons, and fathers and daughters.
Only two animals are monogamous, maybe three. But I mean, that's just survival and nature. That I always say there is no true predator of man other than man.
True.
And so, nature had a way of weeding out the weak and those who shouldn't be around. If you can't get up and run once you pop out the pooper, you get eaten by something. So only the strong survive.
Yes.
But because everybody's here, maybe that's why there's so much mental illness and sickness, because some people, they wasn't supposed to hang around.
They should have been weeded out.
I think that if you accepted the facts and was straightforward with your partner, like if we were to get together, I'm going to ask you how many girlfriends you got. If you tell me you got 3 girlfriends, I'm going to go, okay, cool. Do I want to deal with you or not? And just accept the fact that if I choose to deal with you, you got 3 girlfriends, so I'm only going to be on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Especially Tuesday, because that's your name. Gotta have Tuesday.
So, I mean, and reality is with the divorce rate so high and adultery as rampant as it is, that kind of tells you, well, this is not fitting the norm. That's like working graveyard shift. Your body's not used to that. It's just the norm. And man have said, you've got to I just want you, and you're just going to be with me, and you can't be with nobody else, but I can be with any woman I want to. That's not fair.
Yeah.
You know,
Nature is nature.
But nature would dictate that there's at least, what is it, 4 women to every, globally, there's like 4
7.
women. It's as high as 7. It's 7 to 1.
So you're gonna be my
So
sister.
ratio-wise, maybe are men meant to, to service a greater number than 1, maybe 2 or 3. Like LeBron James said, not 4, not 5, not 6, but 7.
As long as you buy her a house and a washer, and her house a washer, her house and a washer, it's perfectly fine. But she has to have what she has, and she has to have what she has.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you take her out to dinner on Monday, she got to take her out on Wednesday and her out on Thursday. They have to have equal.
Well, what if we all just have a commune and y'all just share the washer?
That's cool.
Okay,
That's cool.
that'll work.
Okay.
Yeah, I ain't mean washing for everybody. Shoot.
I don't know. I mean, if we lived in Utah,
There you go.
Actually anywhere outside the country, and most of the, countries that have been around for centuries more than the United States practice elements of polygamy or variances of polygamy. So who knows? But it's just a notion that from 2 women that participate in the writing of media. Is it something where you feel that there are misrepresentations, whether it's on the show we just spoke of, or maybe on Blackish, for instance, the mother role versus that we see today, compared to what we saw with Claire Huxtable back, and bring up the Cosbys, but compared to the back in the day Claire Huxtable versus the wife and mother in Blackish, are we seeing, has there been a purposeful cultivation of the image? Or are we in the same place as we were back in the Cosby days, which was a great representation back then, don't get me wrong.
Well, I've seen Blackish, and I have to say I enjoy it because I see myself and my children in some of the behaviors and mannerisms that
Smartly
that are portrayed.
written. It's a very
smartly written.
Do you guys
and,
have a problem with the title? I have a problem. I personally have a problem with the title. I thought they could have,
I did.
right?
When I first saw the billboards,
Yeah, it's
and,
like-
I have to say that I haven't seen any of the episodes.
No,
I'm
it's
not
actually good.
I'm not a TV watcher, but I know that's crazy.
But I remember that was kind of how we grew up in Pasadena. We lived in a house overlooking, you walk across the street and you're looking down at Brookside Golf Course up from the Rose Bowl, private school, the whole 9. And that was, my father spoke the King's English. He forbade Ebonics in the home at all. My mother was a nurse. The father was a doctor. That was our lifestyle. And so I did take issue initially with the title, but I got over it once I started watching. And I don't watch religiously, but periodically I'll fall on it. It's like, and I have memories. So
Let me ask you something. I'm definitely anticipating seeing the production. Do you guys address in any way the down low issue that seems to be the hot issue these days, whether it's cultural affiliations amongst men in Atlanta, for instance, versus where we've seen San Francisco as being the great capital of homosexuality, but the emergence of homosexuality amongst the black community seems to have found its headquarters in Atlanta. Do you address that in any way within the stories?
No, we don't. We have in our new show coming up, we do have a lesbian in the show. So she's our first one that's going to perform for us. And I don't mind that. We did have a gentleman who asked, like in the audience after the show was over, it's like he says, you demonstrated every form of couples, but you didn't have a man-on-man couple. And our show is not about homosexuality. Our show is about erotica.
Right, which would of course include that, encompass that.
Yeah.
Right,
It doesn't have to, though.
But it
Why
doesn't
does it
have to.
It
Yeah.
doesn't.
Well, I think it doesn't, certainly not, wouldn't have to. Well, I'm
Yeah.
simply saying that it is something, I really think that it's really coming to the forefront where people are comfortable enough identifying and discussing homosexuality, whereas, or by comparison, bisexuality amongst women has always been an acceptable thing. All right, and I think
the
that
college spring break.
so
Scenario,
it's just something that where within the black community we've seen homosexuality being addressed, not necessarily being addressed in perhaps in a great tone, or certainly if out of its necessity, it has to be addressed in some way because it's a burgeoning part of African American culture.
But there are outlets for that. I think
But why should it be excluded from a discussion of sexuality per se?
it doesn't have to be excluded, but it doesn't have to be included either. I mean, I think there is a gay agenda to a certain extent within
Why does
the
it have to be
media.
an agenda? Why can't it just be? I'm not certainly enough. I'm not gay. I'm just simply arguing for the address of the how
Well, I have
how
to
broad
say
the parameters are for
initially
sexuality.
when she put the call out for acts, erotica acts, not one male on male erotica act called or responded to the call. So
There are gay communities which do certain things for their community. If I want to see that, I'll go to that gay community. If I don't want to see it, why should it be forced upon me to see it?
Would his presence be a forcing upon you? Whereas if it was a bisexual thing, was it lesbian on lesbian? I'm sorry,
Well-
woman on woman. There's an acceptability of that that's not expressed with men on men.
Is it?
Or would you feel that perhaps in the advertising of a show that would have a male on male, that this show is explicit and has male on male performances? I mean, do you think you would need a warning? Because how would you
Perhaps,
feel if you
because
showed up and
some-
we did have something like that?
Yeah, because everybody is not as open or liberal as of yet. And I say a gay agenda because it is being forced upon us. Every show, that's the new thing. You got to have, now it's transgender.
One could
Now you
argue
gotta
that it's
have a
not the newest.
transgender
One could
character.
argue that it's not the newest thing. Whereas you've had, the presence of gays in the community going back to the earliest parts of history of written
Community,
history.
yes, but I'm talking about within media.
Can
Television
Theater.
shows and movies, it's like you got to have that gay
You
character
don't
for
have
it to be a
to,
hit.
but I'm simply saying the expanse of sexuality would be served well if you included all the elements of it.
My show, I had a lot of compliments on Menage a Trois. People told me we need this kind of thing in our community because if you want to know about these kind of things, we have to go outside your community. You have to either go into the white community or you have to go into the BDSM community. It's, and they don't know about simple little things. And so our show is generated to teach people different avenues and comfortability with their sexuality. And we cross the line everywhere that we, that in all our performances. But living in Los Angeles, if you specifically wanted to see a man-on-man performance, there are plenty of places you can go. But my show is about eroticism and poetry.
Now, would that poetry, if a guy came in there and wanted to, express his eroticism in prose in poetry, would he be someone that would be found to be someone that would be excluded from that?
I have everyone submit in writing the 3 poems that they want to perform so I can see the lyrics word for word. I'm not hearing it and misjudging something, but I'm open to everyone. Everyone has the opportunity to submit 3 pieces that they'll perform in the show, and I'll know how to fit them in the show or where to fit them in the show. And if we have enough submissions from men, we'll have a whole show just for men.
Now, what about black on black female love, though? I'm saying. So what in that case, which is just as homosexual as man on man. So what if it was a lesbian that wanted to express her love for her
We've had
sister?
some apply. We have one in our July show coming up on Tuesday,
On
5
Tuesday
days
night.
from now.
Yeah.
So we did have one that applied, but the call that I placed on backstage, it was open to everybody, every gender, every color. It says all nationalities. Every single character I was looking for, I made it open to all nationalities. So they didn't ask me for a sexual preference, but I opened it up to everybody.
Because I submitted a poem and you didn't accept my deep into your stank hole poem. Why didn't you accept it?
I think that went into spam. I don't remember that
We
one.
must remember an elevation of style and class.
Oh, okay.
People, feel free to call us at 818-570-5085 here on the Man Cave Live Show, LATalkRadio.com video channel. We are here with Tuesday Connor and the Oracle, and we were specifically talking about Menage a Trois, an erotic trilogy, which you can attend on,
Tuesday,
July 28th.
Wait, what's the June 30th one?
That's
last
past.
month.
That was last month. That was
Oh,
our
my
world
bad. Okay,
premiere.
this is on. Okay, so let's give that again.
July 28th.
July 28th.
It's a 7:00 cocktail party, 8:00 show.
So it's almost like a Cirque du Soleil erotic.
Oh,
It is
yeah.
because we have a cocktail party before and after.
Okay, and if you
And
are
the
in Los
show-
Angeles, it is once again, and we got to get that address out
Yes.
there. July 8th. No, I'm
Ju-
sorry,
ju-
July 28th. Doors open at 7.
Doors open at 7.
Show begins at 8.
Show
yeah,
begins
show
at 8.
begins
Okay,
at
let's
8.
get that address. Anybody ready to write that down?
We'll be at
547 Lindley Place.
Anonymous Theater, 547 Lindley Place, downtown Los Angeles, 90013 on 6th Avenue between Broadway and Hill Street.
And we'll also repost this information on our Facebook page.
ManCave
So-
Live.
Look out for that. So, Dre, what do you got?
Well, I can relate to that. I did something similar. You remember Lucy Florence?
Yes.
Yes.
I because I'm a photographer, I had an erotic.
I love your artwork,
Oh, thank
your
you.
erotic artwork.
I had a little gallery show, and
It
in the
wasn't
back where
little
they-
either.
Well, thank you. And people read poetry afterwards, so I got the vibe when she said, "I'm like, okay, I can relate to it because it's visual. It's visual, and
This is very
it hits the
visual.
senses as well. You know, so I look forward to
And the audience participation, that is the ticket. We actually invite people during the show, pull people up on stage and have them participate. So it's very interactive. Yeah.
After the show, I said, "Does anyone want to get flogged?" You should have seen
You
the
should-
hands.
all the
go
hands
up.
went up.
Wait, is that from Orpheus?
Yes.
Yeah.
He actually tied some people up afterwards.
Now,
Yeah.
okay, then let me ask you: do you find that people within our culture are becoming more and more interested in BDSM and fetish, that type of? Is that happening more and more? Or
I
not?
think that there's always been an interest. The problem is they don't know how to do it or where to go or what they see on TV or
Right.
or
videos
giving
or
themselves
something
permission
like that.
to participate
Well,
or to experiment.
We're very familiar with the albeit stereotypical Dom female, and then some of the greatest Dom females are illustrated as black women in those positions. Rarely do we see brothers as Doms. I'm sure they exist, but one of the images of a super Dom is a black woman. I don't know whether it's
the boots and
with
everything.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I-
Corset.
Big old warrior woman.
Yeah, like Pam Grier, like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I mean, not for nothing, but
Beating you down, cracker.
we're gonna call this the Angry Black Man Show because Andre will come up with any moment to throw his angry black man.
No, you said
snarl
Pam
in there.
Grier. You said Pam Grier. That's what she did. She,
Yeah, but she's like the old. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like.
and she had the boots.
Warrior woman.
Yeah, no, she just I don't know, people my generation, Pam Grier was like the.
She's like the first major sex symbol.
Then everybody
Yeah.
falls
She
like
showed her
within.
boobies. Oh.
She couldn't help but show her boobs. Not for nothing, you know what I'm saying? As a kid. No, I digress.
It's okay. We watch Superfly.
All right. Ron O'Neal.
Leather
Yes.
Was it Richard Roundtree?
Shaft.
Yeah.
Shut your
When
mouth.
black men were men. Now we have Will Smith. Not taking anything
I
from
like
him at
Will
all.
Smith.
I do too. I mean,
He ain't diving through a window throwing a Molotov.
Okay.
Yeah. He don't say jive turkey too much. Oh, cool.
she's Jive Turkey. I was watching Black Dynamite last night, as a matter of fact. Dynamite.
Awesome. With the, tell us about the characters in the play, because who are they and what parts are they playing?
We have an aphrodisiac girl or two, and those are our waitresses. So they sell aphrodisiacs. One sells and one gives away. Chocolate-covered strawberries, the oracle cards, free condoms.
What size is it? Magnum?
Yeah. Hey, we're in the hood.
One
We're in
for
the
everyone.
hood.
No. Well, you're not.
One size.
What Magnum
It's all-
XL? Not many know about that. I know Dre. I just told Dre about that about 2 months ago. He's like, "What's that?" I said, "Well, someday, you know, when you grow up, you can step up to the XL."
It's true.
Dre gets the condoms with the rubber bands that you can tie around the bottom.
I use a bread twist. Make sure you don't slide off.
No comment.
Yeah.
We also
Sometimes I
have.
just pull on a sock. Yeah.
Or my
That's funny.
my girlfriend's mother told her son after his 7th child, you better get you a hefty bag.
He might get a hazmat suit with 7 kids. I'm working on the first one.
Tuesday, did you tell him about the dildo lady?
Oh, no, I guess not. We do. We have a few vendors there. We have someone who will be demonstrating and showing you different adult toys that you can take home
Ironic.
or play with while you're there, either or. And then we have 2 masseuses, one sexy hot lady and one sexy hot chocolate man.
Yeah.
And
Just
so-
hands massage or they give the body rubs?
Well,
What's
you,
it called?
You
Spar.
come and see.
Yeah.
You
What's
come
it
and
called?
see.
The body rub massage. I forgot what it's called. When they rub their body on you.
Oh, sensual
Oh, you
massage.
do that one. That's tantric.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tantric.
That
yes.
one's
Yeah.
tantric. She does that one.
Oh, yeah.
In fact,
I'm
we-
very good, too, at that.
At the beginning of the show, you
Uh-huh.
come to the show. At the beginning of the show, you'll be able to have that experience.
And you know what?
She'll
No,
pl-
I want.
she'll play with you.
No, I want the what goes on after the show. I want the after the after the
You want
you
the
know
after party.
party. You know what I'm saying? When people have left the
Well,
building.
perhaps we'll put him in the loft.
Uh-oh.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a scene for you.
Oh, look out now.
Hey,
You know you're good at them scenes.
I don't, I don't think you know.
Okay, we know.
Ironically, I have a dildo. I have a line of toys, and I could actually bring some of my pieces.
That would be
To, you know.
awesome.
What's the name of your company?
My toy company?
Yeah.
Well, it's called Lex Steel Toys, but it's manufactured by Topco, which is a major distributor. And I mean,
Topco.
essentially, there's like a dildo and a vibrator and a couple bullets, the bullet vibrators, a couple cock rings, rubber ones, metal ones, a penis pump. So there's quite a few toys in the toy line.
Okay,
Wow.
beautiful.
Perhaps one
The
of these
baby
months
arm.
we can
Yeah.
have him as a vendor.
And a double dong.
Yeah.
You know.
So we'll talk about you in our August show.
Yeah.
All right.
I do have some stuff in inventory, so I can always, donate.
Thank you.
That would
Okay,
be awesome.
beautiful. We love it. Thank you very much.
You need a lot
for
of
that.
space, though, where you.
We got space.
Yeah, yeah.
We have space.
Square footage. I don't think it went
We
over
can
their
handle.
head.
We can handle
You know,
that.
they might clear some extra room off. I don't know. Do you feel that, ladies? Do you feel that pornography, as produced in today's day and age, is in any way damaging to the image of women, if not black women?
I don't think
If you enjoy
so.
pornography,
I don't think so because I'm more concerned not with the pornography, but with these young girls being accepted, being called out of their name. That concerns me more than pornography, because when somebody says, "Hey, B, come here," and you come, and you think that's your name, that's totally demeaning to our black women. Pornography, if that's your choice and that's what you choose to do, as long as you're not being forced into it, that's on you.
well, then, if women, I'll say, women being addressed as bitch, as in bitch come here, or bitch better have my money, as we see on Rihanna on regular radio.
I don't get that one.
But
oh
but
my God.
but then is there an equal problem, right, amongst our community with the pervasive use of the word nigga pervasively, and not only in music, major music, but in general conversation? The eradication of both words would serve us all well as a community, and help the community ascend, certainly in respectability by way of comparison to other cultural aspects of Americana, who look at us like, wow, they even call themselves these derogatory names.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, when I was a child, I learned that niggers came from Niger.
Right.
That's what I learned. So I've never been offended at the word myself, but I understand where black men come from. And I believe that if you want not to be called a nigga, you shouldn't call women bitches. I think that's 50-50, hand in hand.
Well, now let's make the distinction between nigga and nigger, or do you make a distinction between the two? I do.
No, niggas come in all colors. Okay, don't be mistaken. They come in all colors. You know?
Right.
Yeah, they do. Okay, it's
Right,
it's their
The
personality.
scum of the
their-
earth beneath the pig.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. So,
But does that also show the strength of our influence that we take a negative word that's been placed on us and make it hip, so much so that other people are calling themselves a derogatory word. I mean, I've seen Asian kids, yo, my nigga, what up, nigga?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's if we knew the power that we have, we could really do some amazing things.
I think it's totally gotten out of control. Lady Wakera is 72 years old. She gets off the plane in Japan, and they walk up to her talking about, what's up, my nigga?
In Japan?
In Japan. She said when she got off the plane, that's how they addressed her. It's like, you're talking to a 72-year-old
Yeah.
woman. You don't talk in America. You don't talk to 72-year-old women.
No.
I don't want you talking to a 14-year-old girl like
So
that.
it's almost like the derived context of its use has been bastardized the farther and east or the farther west you go.
Because it's seen as the hip thing to do. So
It's what they
because
see.
So
They
they
see
think
it.
they're saying something cool.
So
to
then,
It's
can we
cool.
rein in the generation that has made it into such a mainstream word? Can we rein that in? Is it something that's
No.
a foregone
No, because
conclusion?
they're all
No,
disillusioned.
it's going to be another word. It's going to be something else later on. It's like you can't get Lucy and Ricky back having two twin beds.
Right.
You know, you can't get that back. It's like where little Ricky came from, I don't know. But, you know, when they had Father Knows Best, and there were morals on the radio, there were morals
Now
on
there's
TV.
amorality
Now
leads to pack.
it's
It's amorality.
It is, and
Just the
it's like
opposite.
a freedom of speech. But it was like, but I don't want you talking to my child in that manner on the radio, you
But-
know, or on TV. I don't want my kid to come home at 3:00 in the afternoon and see that. That's something I want to discuss with my child.
But can we have it both ways? Because this country is based on freedoms. It's like people.
We have it both ways.
Well, not really. I mean, the religious side, they want it certain ways, but then you have it's like the gun laws. You know, everyone wants there to be gun control and not be killing one another, but nobody wants to give up their
Nobody
guns.
wants to give up
Well,
their
I
guns.
think that if these people who had billions of dollars and were like charging us like almost $2 for a candy bar or a Coke when they know it only is worth a dime or a quarter, if they stopped bilking us money, we wouldn't have to come after them with guns. We wouldn't have to go rob them. We wouldn't have to steal pens and paper clips from the office so my kid can have a pen to go to school with. You know, it's like, but the rich are bilking us so bad that we have to pull out guns and go get some money to feed our kids.
It's from the standpoint here at ManCave, we do argue on the fact that one segment of the American community has access and utility to guns, and are also have an armed force behind them, known as the police force. And another part of the community is denied access to protections of having one's own gun and summarily shot dead in the street, or if not, beaten down handily with your head stomped on and then brought to a jail, and then 3 days. And mind you, people always use your turn signal. We see what can happen. Certainly enough in the state of Texas, if you fail to use your turn signal correctly, 3 days later we can wake up with a noose made of the strongest plastic one has ever seen in his life. I go off on a tangent because I want to make sure we did get in the fact that what's happening in Texas is not washing over the eyes of the African American community. We are watching this very, very closely.
Did they say where she got the plastic?
No,
that
there
she
was a
used?
garbage bag. Ironically enough, there was a garbage bag in the cell, and there was no garbage bags in any of the cells, but a garbage bag with a plastic bag inside as a liner in the garbage can. Whereas a garbage can inside the cell is something that is not seen. Nowhere else in that jail was a garbage can with a plastic bag to be found in the rooms, but in this case it was. How I find these things very interesting, and it's something we could not let pass here tonight on ManCave.
Yeah.
It's
Peace and
sad.
blessings to the
Sad
Brand
situation.
family.
Yeah. And another thing that kind of rakes my nerves. They say when they admitted the young lady, she had bruises consistent with wearing with the handcuffs, right? And then today they're saying that she had 30 cuts all the way up her arm. They're saying she was a cutter. Well, why was that not identified when she was taken into custody? Whereas when people brought into custody, they're asked whether they have tattoos on their body or significant cuts or physically identifiable marks on their bodies. If they'd have asked that when she came in, then that would have been found out in the first place, not in the after fact. Then they had the nerve. I smoke weed. People, I think you guys know that. Then they had to say that she had a tremendous amount of marijuana in her system at the time of her death. Well, how the hell is she gonna have a tremendous? She's been in there for 3 days. How is that possible?
That means that they got her high. What they're saying is that they got her high.
Or they admit it, and they will. That would be an incredible thing. I mean, and even if they were going to pull a hair strand, it's only going to yield trace amounts of marijuana in her system. So the people that are constructing this fabrication.
Okay,
it's incredible.
And it's not working.
It's not working. It's incredible. I'm tired. Every week we have another situation in which people are trying to pull the wool over our eyes.
Every day.
And I'm tired of having to identify it, but God damn it, we'll identify it every time it happens, because if not, then it can be swept under the rug. So,
and they always find somebody, a person of color from the community, who will stand like that idiot who stood with the Confederate flag and said, I think we should let them fly it. And,
or corroborate
or they
situation,
corroborate the situation.
Right? You know, so, and then also, too, you're going to have people believe that a video camera footage cannot be cut very, very clean so that it looks like, yeah, sure, it looks like no one visited her jail cell in the time that she was there and the time she was found dead. They can cut and chop that. I'm a movie producer. I know how to cut and chop everything with a blade like you wouldn't believe.
That's what
Best
movies
believe
are all
those guys
about.
in the office knew what they were doing when they cut and pasted that videotape. So to the Bland
they didn't
family,
do a good job, because those of us who do that kind of thing, we saw it immediately. It was caught immediately.
Yes.
It's sad that, like you said, every week there's something new. And
Every day.
Yeah.
And it's it's a
It's
form
every
of their
day.
indoctrination. If they do it enough, get it in front of your
You
face
become
enough,
desensitized.
exactly, and you begin to accept it and say, "Oh well, it's not me, thank God." And you hopefully you tell your kids how to stay alive.
Yeah, but that hopefully, thank God it's not me, doesn't always.
Bullets
it
have no
happens,
names.
It comes home.
yeah.
And
It
crazy
comes
cops, they don't pick and choose. They
Yeah.
just go for black
Wow.
Yeah.
or brown.
Yeah. It's sad. sad.
Unfortunately.
What can we do to change it? That's the question.
I don't want to tell you what Bruce told me.
What did Bruce tell you?
He said for every one they take out, chop off their head and just leave it and like do one for one.
Is it Bruce who?
Just Bruce.
Like Bruce Lee?
No, just
Okay,
Bruce.
Bruce.
Take a page
That's
from
right.
ISIS. We should become terrorists, maybe?
Vigilantes,
Vigilantes?
perhaps.
I'm not a proponent of gun violence, nor am I a proponent of acts of violence done out of retribution. But I do believe that there is ways to change it. I just don't think it's. I don't know about. I'm certainly not turning the other cheek type of motherfucker. But I certainly don't think that because they've got more guns. Even if you look on cable television, they're showing you these people that are these preppers, these doomsday preppers. Not for nothing, but when's the last time we saw any person of color in a doomsday prep show? Yeah. And I will tell you something. If I personally became a doomsday prep, best believe I would have people coming by my house if I was stacking M16s and P15s in my basement. Trust, I would not make it past a month. And on TV, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds with M16s, AK-47s.
And it's okay because they're Caucasian.
But you know what? We don't need those kind of weapons because we're God's children.
We have our
And
minds.
that's what they fear.
Power.
That's why they have the guns, because they would like to be first here on the planet.
But see, they indoctrinated us with that to control us so that we don't do what needs to be done to keep them from doing what they're doing now. We can't play by the same rules that they give us because they don't play by their own rules.
No.
People.
The war we're in now, started by Bush, was retribution because his father couldn't do it. They do shit on retribution, so why shouldn't we?
Well, I think
because the more positive that you do, the more positive comes back after.
That's
Yeah.
what they brainwashed us into
Yeah, but-
believing
No,
by giving us
Trey,
the
we-
book.
we-
No.
But
you know what? I do
Balance
not.
is really
I don't.
the key.
I don't expect.
they
you said
still own
violence is really-
everything.
Balance.
They ain't
Balance,
worried
balance,
about
thank
it.
you. Yeah, I just, I'm not a proponent of violence upon violence upon violence. 'Cause I do think that as it escalates, I think no one wins in the end. Whether it's, if the World War III, who wins World War III? Absolutely no one.
Nobody
But, at
wins
some
a
point, it
war.
has to end.
Wars cannot be won.
Exactly.
Malcolm X said, by any means necessary, and people credited him with that. What he was doing was quoting the Constitution. If you look at the Constitution, there is a clause near the top at the preamble that says that if the government starts getting out of hand, each and every one of you citizens out there have a right, you have a duty to curtail what they're doing to bring down the country by any means necessary. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
but
paraphrasing,
we'll
but
get put under the jail, if not under the
But
ground.
I like the
for
concept of
doing
the
that.
positivity.
You do.
It
You
takes
do.
a village, and we all related. So if somebody hurts my family, they gonna get it.
Simple.
There you go.
That's what he said.
All right, so just and people, please, as we discuss these things, we like to keep it real on the Man Cave, and we want to thank, as we close out this evening, we do want to thank our lovely guests, Tuesday and the Oracle. Please tell us once again of the event coming up in July. And
Ménage Trois, an erotic trilogy. At the Anonymous Theater, located at 547 Lindley Place, downtown Los Angeles, 90013.
Right at 6th Avenue between Broadway and Hill. Website is TuesdayConner.com. Same on Facebook, Tuesday Conner, CONNER. Email address, ctuesday@yahoo.com. C like my last name, C
And
Tuesday.
Ménage Trois, an erotic trilogy, has a Facebook page
All right.
under that title.
excellent. Dre, anything before we get out?
Oh, Tuesday, July 28th, 7 p.m. the doors open, 8 o'clock the show starts.
And then afterwards, we get the massage session afterwards.
After party.
And you can get some Lex Steel toys.
Yes.
This is Man Cave. Andre Lavelle. For Johnny Depp, who is not here with us today, we'll see him next week. I am your main man, Lex Steel, with these wonderful ladies. Thanks for joining us tonight. LATalkRadio.com video channel, Man Cave Live. Peace.
Straight talk from our perspective. This is Man Cave Live with your host Lexington Steele and co-host Andre Lavelle and Johnny Depp on LA Talk Radio. Let's get it in.